Dawn spreads across the Kenyan savanna in a pale gold curtain. The tall grass sways slowly, as if the wind carries a secret it is afraid to speak. The world feels muted, suspended between heartbeats. A small lion cub limps into frame. Dust coats his legs, and a thin scratch marks his side. He doesn't roar. He only breathes, fast, shallow, trembling. His amber eyes lock on Mark Donovan, a 38-year-old wildlife photographer from Oregon who freezes behind his camera. The cub steps close. One step. Another. Then he stops, chest fluttering with panic. His eyes shine with something unmistakable, a plea. Snap. Mark shifts his boot and a twig breaks. The cub flinches but stands his ground. He turns sharply, trots forward, then looks back over his shoulder, runs a few meters, looks back again. His whole body begs, "Follow me." Mark's breath tightens. A memory flashes. A rescue years earlier when locals found him injured after a fall. Calma. "Estatuto Bem," someone had whispered as they carried him. That voice rises again now, urging him to move. He follows. The camera glides behind them, brushing through dry grass. Birds shriek somewhere afar, their rhythm uneasy. Even with sunlight spreading wider, the atmosphere grows heavier, as if danger thickens the air. 50 meters. 70. 100. The cub keeps glancing back, pupils wide, tail low, breath sharp. Finally, he reaches a formation of ancient rocks burned dark by time. He squeezes through a narrow gap, then pokes his head out, desperate, urging Mark inside. Mark drops to his knees, crawls through. Thud. He stops cold. A lioness lies wedged between two large boulders. Her flank barely rises. Her fur is matted with dry blood. A faded scar runs across her left front paw, the mark of an old trap wound. She tries to lift her head. The stones grind. She collapses again. The cub presses his face to hers. She blinks slowly, eyelids heavy with pain. Mark whispers, "Calma. It's okay, I'm here." He examines the stones. Heavy, unstable. One wrong move could crush her completely. His hands tremble. He finds two thick branches nearby and wedges one under the largest boulder. Pushes. Crack! The branch snaps in half. The cub recoils, startled. Mark forces steady breath. "It's okay, I'll try again." Dust rises as he tries a new angle. The rocks groan. The lioness releases a deep, rumbling moan that vibrates the air. The cub curls against her but does not flee. Tension coils tight. Mark forces the branch deeper under the stone. His arms tremble, sweat burning his eyes. The cub circles in frantic loops, releasing soft, broken mews that crack the silence. Mark braces his shoulder and pushes. Thud. The boulder shifts slightly. The lioness gasps, a raw sound that vibrates through the narrow chamber. Dust drifts from above. Mark adjusts his grip and pushes again, but the branch snaps. Crack! The cub startles back. Mark steadies his breath. "It's okay, I'll try again." He grabs another branch, thicker, wedges it carefully, and strains with all his strength. The stone groans. A smaller rock above them loosens and crashes down. Thud! Narrowly missing the cub. Mark lunges instinctively, shielding him with his arm. The cub stares at him, breathing fast, eyes wide with a strange mixture of fear and trust. Using the new leverage, Mark drives the branch harder. The boulder inches aside. Another push, another groan. Finally, snap. The stone rolls just enough for the lioness to slip free. She collapses onto the ground, sides heaving. The cub rushes to her, licking her face, nudging her shoulder. She opens her eyes, weak but alive. Mark kneels beside them. Relief sharpens into worry as he studies her swollen hip. She won't stand, not soon. And the distant, echoing laughter of hyenas reminds him the area is far from safe. He looks toward the savannah. The ranger station lies about 5 kilometers away, open terrain, fading daylight. "We need to move her," he whispers. The cub meets his gaze, one slow blink. Mark tears fabric from his pack and ties it between two sturdy branches, creating a rough stretcher. It takes 3 attempts. The first slips, the second nearly overturns, but on the third he manages to slide the lioness onto it. She releases a low, weary exhale. The cub presses close, tail brushing her side, guarding her. Mark grips the stretcher handles, breath unsteady. 5 kilometers. Predators approaching. No guarantees except effort. The journey begins. Mark forces the branch deeper under the stone. His arms tremble, sweat burning his eyes. The cub circles in frantic loops, releasing soft, broken mews that crack the silence. Mark braces his shoulder and pushes. Thud. The boulder shifts slightly. The lioness gasps, a raw sound that vibrates through the narrow chamber. Dust drifts from above. Mark adjusts his grip and pushes again, but the branch snaps. Crack! The cub startles back. Mark steadies his breath. "It's okay. I'll try again." He grabs another branch, thicker, wedges it carefully, and strains with all his strength. The stone groans. A smaller rock above them loosens and crashes down, thud, narrowly missing the cub. Mark lunges instinctively, shielding him with his arm. The cub stares at him, breathing fast, eyes wide with a strange mixture of fear and trust. Using the new leverage, Mark drives the branch harder. The boulder inches aside, another push, another groan. Finally, snap. The stone rolls just enough for the lioness to slip free. She collapses onto the ground, sides heaving. The cub rushes to her, licking her face, nudging her shoulder. She opens her eyes, weak but alive. Mark kneels beside them. Relief sharpens into worry as he studies her swollen hip. She won't stand. Not soon. And the distant, echoing laughter of hyenas reminds him the area is far from safe. He looks toward the savannah. The ranger station lies about 5 kilometers away. Open terrain, fading daylight. Fading daylight. We need to move her, he whispers. The cub meets his gaze. One slow blink. Mark tears fabric from his pack and ties it between 2 sturdy branches, creating a rough stretcher. It takes 3 attempts. The first slips, the second nearly overturns, but on the third he manages to slide the lioness onto it. She releases a low, weary exhale. The cub presses close, tail brushing her side, guarding her. Mark grips the stretcher handles, breath unsteady. 5 kilometers. Predators approaching. No guarantees except effort. The journey begins. Mark pushes forward, legs shaking. The stretcher drags over rough ground, making the lioness groan. The cub walks tight against her side, glancing back constantly. Behind them, the male lion's presence lingers like a silent threat. Then the wind changes. Distant hyena laughter rises, thin, sharp, hungry. Mark's pulse spikes. The tall grass looks empty, but the sound means they're close. He forces himself to move faster, breath breaking into short bursts. They reach another hill, long and steady. Mark leans forward, hauling the stretcher inch by inch. The cub climbs beside him, ears twitching. Halfway up. Crack! A hyena bursts from the grass, snarling. Mark jerks the stretcher aside. The cub plants himself before his mother, trembling but refusing to step back. 2 more hyenas appear, circling. Mark grabs a fallen stick and swings it. Go! Snap! It hits a rock. The hyenas flinch. A deeper vibration rolls across the earth. Roar. The male lion stands atop the hill behind them, mane blazing in the sunset. The hyenas freeze, then instantly scatter, vanishing in the grass. Mark exhales, but relief lasts only a moment. The male lion begins walking toward them, slow, deliberate, focused on the injured lioness. Arrival, a vulnerable female, an opportunity. The cub whimpers and presses against her. Mark grips the stretcher. Come on. He drags her uphill, boots slipping, arms burning. The male lion closes in, step after step. At the top, the ranger station appears in the distance, tiny but real. Hope surges through Mark's chest. The male lion stops just meters behind them, growling low. Mark raises his arms, trying to look larger. Easy. We're going. Just going. The lion snorts, pawing dust. Then he notices the cub. A long pause. The cub shivers, but meets the gaze. Then shifts. The male lion flicks his tail, turns, and walks away. Mark drops to his knees, breath collapsing out of him. The path ahead is open again, for now. Mark forces himself back to his feet, gripping the stretcher handles. Only 1.5 kilometers remain, but his body feels like it's unraveling thread by thread. The lion breathes in unstable rhythms, each exhale a soft rumble of pain. The cub keeps brushing against her cheek, as if reminding her she's not alone. They move into a stretch of flat savanna. The sun sinks lower, bleeding orange across the sky. Shadows stretch long and fragile. Mark whispers, "Stay with me. Stay awake." His boots crunch through dry earth. Thud, thud. Each step echoes louder in his skull. Then, a memory slams into him. A flashback. 3 years earlier. He's lying on jagged rocks after a fall during a documentary shoot. His leg broken, blood on his hands, darkness closing in, and then villagers rushing toward him. One kneels, saying softly, "Calma. Estatuto bem. We've got you." They carry him for hours, singing to keep him conscious. 30 kilometers. 3 days. He survives because they refuse to let him be forgotten in the dark. Back to the present. Mark swallows hard. "I won't leave you," he murmurs to the lioness, as if repaying something deeper than debt. Wind sweeps through the grass. The cub stops suddenly, ears pointed forward. Mark freezes. Silence spreads like a held breath. Then, snap! A twig breaks ahead. But instead of predators, 2 ranger silhouettes appear over a distant ridge, scanning the area with binoculars. Mark lifts one hand high, Hey, over here! The cub startles at his shout but doesn't run. The rangers break into a jog, closing the distance quickly. When they reach him, one kneels beside the lioness. What happened? Mark exhales shakily. Rockfall. She's hurt. Hip, maybe ribs. The other ranger glances at the cub. He stayed with her? Mark nods. The whole way. The rangers exchange a silent look, part disbelief, part respect, then help lift the stretcher together. The cub follows so closely his whiskers brush the frame. Within minutes, they reach the station. A small sheltered area, dim lights turning on as they arrive. The lioness is lowered gently onto soft blankets. A ranger whispers, "We'll clean the wounds. Stabilize her. She might make it." The cub presses his forehead against hers, eyes shimmering. Mark steps back, chest tight with relief. For the first time since dawn, the world stops spinning. The healing can finally begin. Night settles over the station in slow breaths. Lanterns cast warm circles of light as the rangers work. The lioness lies still but conscious, breathing steadier. The cub stays pressed to her side, refusing to move even when Mark steps closer. A ranger cleans the injured hip. Crack, a fracture but not shattered. Another prepares bandages. Mark watches, tension slowly unwinding from his body. The cub lifts his head, eyes soft, not fear, recognition. Mark kneels carefully. The cub blinks once, then presses his forehead against Mark's knee. Warmth floods Mark's chest. "You're safe now," he whispers. The lioness opens her eyes, golden, clearer. She looks at Mark without threat, only silent understanding. Musica A soft tune drifts from a ranger's radio. Time passes. First hour, fluids. Second, swelling drops. Third, the cub sleeps curled against her. Mark sits nearby, exhausted but unable to look away. Outside, insects buzz, birds call, the savannah returning to calm. A ranger approaches. She'll live, needs days, but she'll walk again. Mark exhales. "Thank you. You did the hard part." The cub wakes and nudges Mark's arm. Mark gently touches his head. The cub accepts the gesture. Another ranger checks the leg. "Strong mother. She'll stand soon." Mark notices the old trap scar on her paw, the life she survived before this day. She rests now, but her spirit is clear. Just before dawn, the lioness lifts her head. The cub chirps softly beside her. She rises slightly on her front legs, testing strength, then lowers herself with more control. "We do bim!" Mark murmurs. Musica, another gentle melody, begins as the first sunlight appears. Mark steps outside for air. The horizon glows pink. Peace finally settles. The cub follows, sits beside him, eyes calm and bright, no hostility left. Only trust. Only gratitude. A friend emerging in silence. The sun climbs slowly, spilling soft light across the station. Mark returns inside just as the lioness attempts to stand again. Her front legs brace. Her hind leg trembles. The cub chirps encouragement, nudging her shoulder. She tries once more, and this time lifts herself halfway before settling back down. Progress. Real progress. A ranger smiles. Give her hours. She's rebuilding strength. Mark kneels near the cub. "You're doing great," he whispers. The cub leans against him briefly, a gesture light as breath yet heavy with meaning. By midday, the lioness gathers herself, plants her paws, and rises. Slow, shaky, but standing. The cub circles her, tail high, eyes bright. Mark watches in awe, breath caught in his chest. The lioness glances at him. A calm, steady gaze. Not instinct. Not fear. Recognition. Then she steps forward, closer than she has ever dared. Her head lowers slightly. For a heartbeat, her golden eyes hold his, warm, aware, unforgettable. A silent thank you. The rangers step back, giving space. The cub moves to her side, brushing her leg. Together, they turn toward the savannah opening behind the station. It is time. Mark follows them outside. The breeze carries warm grass scent, the distant hum of life returning. The lioness pauses at the edge of the clearing. She looks back one final time. No hostility, no wild alarm. Just soft gratitude, and something almost human in its clarity. The cub approaches Mark, touching his knee gently with his forehead. Mark whispers, "You remember me, don't you?" The cub blinks once, slow, deliberate. Moment of reciprocity complete. Musica A quiet melody rises from the station speakers like a farewell. The lioness nudges the cub. He trots to her side. Together, they walk into the tall golden grass. Their silhouettes blend with the moving blades until both are swallowed by the wild that shaped them. Mark stands alone at the edge, breath unsteady, heart full. He whispers the truth the savannah just showed him. Kindness crosses every boundary. Fear fades in the presence of courage. And gratitude survives in every species. He turns back to the station, one last look at the place where survival, trust, and hope intertwined in silence.